So we're talking, this is as long as Lonesome Dove. This is in the thousands. About 1,120-ish pages. Crazy. I would say it took me about a month to read Lonesome Dove. But I was reading several books at the time. That is still my favorite book of the year, and probably up there with lifetime favorite, maybe. I try not to judge too quick because, you gotta let books sit for a while, but it's over there. It's that comes right there. Okay, this is, how cute is this? Walter R. Brooks, Freddy the Detective. And yes, this is swine. I'm not the biggest fan of swine, but it was too cute to resist. Illustrated by Kurt Weiss. Is there illustrations in it? There is some illustrations in it. So this is like a little junior high-ish, which I have been. I found out that I do like middle grade books better than YA. I don't like YA. I read one YA that I liked recently, but I do not like what I could do middle grade, but I could not do YA. Oh, this is gonna be hard because it's like black on blue, but Freddy the Detective is a delightful detective story about a beloved animal on Mr. Bean's farm whose adventures have entertained generations of children. Freddy, inspired by the stories of Sherlock Holmes, sets up his own detective agency and solves a series of mysterious cases, beginning with the disappearance of the children's train set. Here is yet another lively tale from Walter R. Brooks, complete with the frame-up and trial featuring Freddy and Ferdinand the Crow as opposing lawyers, and Charles the Rooster as the judge. So it is part of a series, but who cares? It can't be that deep. It's middle grade. So I guess this is Freddy with his little, is this supposed to be a strap-on beard? His Sherlock Holmes hat and his magnifying glass. Did Sherlock have a beard? I don't know. Okay. Now, I do love this next author, and I have not read this book, and it is Liz Nugent's. Little Cruelties. Liz Nugent's Little Cruelties. What have I read? I think I've read 2 books by her. I know I read Strange Sally Diamond, and there was another one. All 3 of the Drum brothers were at the funeral, but one of them was in the coffin. William, Brian, and Luke, 3 boys, each born a year apart, trained from birth by their wily mother to compete for her attention. They play nasty games as brothers do, yet even after the Drums grow up, these games, those little cruelties, grow more sinister, more merciless, and more dangerous. And with their lives entwined, like the strands of a noose, only 2 of the brothers will survive. I know you probably can't see it on camera, but this is like that blue that almost glows. I have another book that's this color. I think it's called The First Day of Spring. Okay. This next one was actually recommended by somebody on the channel a long time ago, so if you remember recommending it to me, I found it. And I love a fairy tale Rothstein has created an unforgettable story about parenthood, sacrifice, and life itself. I will make sure that I'm in the right headspace to take this on, and that's not right now. But I bet this is amazing. And I've heard about it. Riveting, says the Washington Post. Okay, I picked up Emma by Jane Austen. I'm not really into classics, but this was so pretty, and it was 49 cents. So, maybe one day I'll be into classics, or I'll just have my little shelf of classics, whatever. Dover Thrift Editions. And this writing is so tiny. When her former governess finds happiness as the bride of a local widower, the brilliant and beautiful Emma Woodhouse, one of Jane Austen's immortal creations, flatters herself that she alone has secured the marriage, and that she possesses a special talent for bringing lovers together. The young heiress next busies herself with finding a suitable husband for her friend and protege, Harriet Smith, setting off an entertaining sequence of comic missteps and misunderstandings in the sparkling comedy of English village romance. Beneath its considerable width, the novel is also a story of a young woman's progress towards self-understanding. So, here's the thing with me in classics. I watched a movie about Emma. I'm sure there's probably several because this book is really old, but it was the one with Anya Taylor-Joy. And I think with classics, I actually have to reverse the way that I have to do screen to book instead of book to screen, because I get so lost when I just crack open a classic and I'm like, what? I think that if I watch the movie, I'll kind of be primed to read the book. I also heard that to do that with a couple other ones, that Elena Ferrante series, the quartet, the Neapolitan quartet, people that were struggling with that said, try watching some of the show, then get into the book, because then, like, the characters, just occasionally, that might do the trick. Any other time, I would go book to screen. But that is Emma. House of Thieves, because I've dipped into so many other genres lately, and I do like certain places in historical fiction, certain times. Like, drop me off in the Victorian ages, drop me off there. That's one of my favorites. I mean, I wouldn't survive, but drop me off in a book there. This one I think is Victorian or somewhere around then, and it is House of Thieves. House of Thieves. Apparently at one point it was a Target Club pick. House of Thieves. It's a little texture. And then this is by Charles Belfour. Could you do the wrong things if you had the right reasons? Yes, say no more. When architect John Cross's son racks up a dangerous gambling debt to the wrong gang, Cross finds himself far away from gilded upper-crust parlors, deep in the world of desperation and deception. Cross must use his inside knowledge of high society mansions and museums to craft a robbery even the smartest detectives can't solve. With a newfound talent for sniffing out vulnerable and lucrative targets, Cross becomes invaluable to the gang, but Cross's entire life has become a balancing act, and it will only take one mistake for it to all come crashing down. Belfour designs a rollicking story and a blueprint of great fun. Oh, this does sound like fun, doesn't it? unnecessary effort and unrealistic ambitions. Then one day he notices two children around 6 or 7 sitting alone on a bench. Hardly checks if they're okay and sees injuries on both children. Someone's hurting these kids. He reports the incident to Child Protective Services. That should be the end of it. After all, Hartley's not even good at looking out for himself, so the last thing he wants to do is look out for anyone else. But he's haunted by these two kids. His heart's breaking for them, and the more research he does, the less he trusts that Child Protective Services, understaffed and overworked, will do anything about it. That leaves Hartley. He is probably the last person you'd ever want to count on, but those two kids have nobody else but him. Hartley has to do what's right and help them. For the first time in his life, Hartley decides to fight for something. This might be the one point in his entire life he realizes that is the entire point of his life. He will help those kids. At first, trying to gather evidence that will force the proper authorities to intervene, Hartley is a total disaster. Gradually, with assistance from unexpected allies, he develops investigative skills and discovers he's smarter and